Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Koa'ki Meiru deck. So a few people wanted me to make a Koa'ki Meiru deck, and I had one. I just wanted to update it, kind of add some new things. The build is probably going to look pretty similar to a lot of other builds because there isn't too much difference. Most Koa'ki Meiru builds just use Fire Fist to use the Beast Warrior engine. It's very hard to make a pure Koa'ki Meiru deck. If you aren't as familiar with them, they're very powerful cards, but they require having other monsters in your hand or having a Koa'ki Meiru core, so it's kind of annoying to manage them, and the way you get around that is using as few of them as possible and then using some more support. So Fire Fist is kind of the big engine for them mixed with Beast Warriors, and it just makes the deck really strong. It leads you to having a lot of powerful monsters, a lot of big swarming advantage, and a lot of really cool things you could do. So first off, the Fire Fist. So we're going to be running 3 bear, 2 or 3 is fine. 3, just because it's a really powerful card to have access to, especially with the high amount of fire formation cards I'm using. 1 gorilla as well, very nice to help you out, to blow up spells and traps. 1 Cold Soldier Wolfbark obviously will be very nice in this deck to give you some big advantage. For the Koa'ki Meiru, so the Crysader is really nice that you can just kind of search out things from the graveyard, which is cool because you have a low monster count, and he's so strong that he will be able to destroy things. So very, very nice. And then we're running 2 Ice. So Ice is another one that I just really enjoy. It works really well with fire formations because they're continuous cards, and I really like being able to destroy special summon monsters. That can be a really effective thing you could do. Along with that, we have Koa'ki Meiru Tornado, another one that I'm a big fan of. These are more kind of the tech choices, so I'm running 2 of this. You can run 1 or 0, but I really like these 2. Tornado, again, helping you just wipe out all your special summon monsters that your opponent has. What's the nice thing about it is you're just returning an iron core. You're not, destroying it. So really, really nice, and it can really blow up certain field situations for your opponent. Really strong card. And then probably the main card of the deck, Urnight. Urnight is just so good. 2,000 attack, 1,500 defense, and he just gives you free special summons. He's just really strong, and obviously you'll want to run 3 in a Koa'ki Meiru deck. Just a really great card overall. Monster count is going to be low because that's kind of how the Koa'ki Meirus work, because you can't use too much additional support. But I will talk about some other stuff you could use in the side deck. For the spells, 1 Dark Hole, 3 Diamond Core. So Diamond Core is really cool. You have a Searcher for this deck that also helps you protect your Koa'ki Meiru, so really nice card overall. Additionally, we have 3 Fire Formation Tenki, so between these 2 cards we can search out pretty much our entire deck, thinning the deck, getting you whatever you need to set up things. It's very standard that you'll get whatever you want with this deck, which is really nice. 2 Tensu, giving us some additional swarming power. In addition to the things we do have, like Urnight being able to swarm, we have Tensu, so we can create a really big situation and have some big advantage very quickly. And then 3 Iron Core of Koa'ki Meiru, just the key spell card to the deck, allowing you to do additional plays. Very nice. 2 MST, 2 Soul Charge. I really like Soul Charge for this deck because of the low monster count, so in case you do lose your cards, you'll have ways to get them back, and you can gain some big advantage from Soul Charge because of how a lot of the effects work that you have in this deck. For the traps, pretty much standard, not too much to say. We are running 1 Reckoned Power, which I think is just really cool to have, being able to do kind of like a Heavy Storm, which is really nice. Against certain decks it won't be as good, but I think overall it could be very, very powerful. Obviously it's a trap, that's the one annoying thing about it, but you can use the activation timing whenever you think you'll need it, so it can be very powerful if your opponent does run heavy back row. So now for the extra deck, we're just going to be running, a big variety of 4 stars. We do have Koa'ki Meiru Ice, so Abyss Dweller can get a little bonus here. We are running 1 Cardinal, just in case, could be a useful card, and 2 Tiger Kings, obvious for this deck. Daigusto Emeral, really nice with the low monster count. Diamond Dire Wolf, obviously, with Beast Warriors, Exciton Knight, Gagaga. 1 Lightning Chidori, just because we do have those 2 Tornadoes, just in case. We do have Soul Charge and other ways to additionally get these cards back, so I think it's nice to have Chidori in case. 1 Maestroke. We do have room for Silent Honors, so we do have 2 of them in this deck, which is nice. 1 Ragnazero in case can help you out. And Heartlandraco, because we do have those continuous spell cards, can be nice in this deck. And 1 Photon, obviously just a nice card overall. Again, we have just a huge amount of options for our extra deck. That's just a bunch of 4-star variety, so whatever you really want to use. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen a video of mine before, in the side deck I kind of just go over other recommended cards or other ideas that people might be thinking about or putting in those decks. Ideas that you guys might want to do when you're building your own Koa'ki Meiru deck, just other choices I've seen, not meant to be a side deck for matches. So I'm going to go over some of the Koa'ki Meiru cards. A lot of them are more interesting tech in other decks, and you can put them in this deck, but it can be a lot of trouble. Drago can be nice, kind of along with that Doom. They both help you kind of deal with light and dark monsters, which are kind of interesting. Koa'ki Meiru Bergzak is really nice in warrior decks, can give you big advantage. If you're running like a rock stun deck, you can use Sandman or Wall or Guardian. I've tried using them in Koa'ki Meirus. It's just kind of cloggy to have both types. But in a stun, rock deck, these guys can be very strong. I've also seen some people run Tour Guide. Tour Guide can give you some 3-star advantage, and you can run that with Doom. You can use Tour Guide to bring out Invoker and do even more special summoning. So I can see that being really powerful, just something I'm not doing in this deck. I've also seen some people run this with Traptrix, which is another variation if you want to do that. You can also run Forbidden Lance, obviously, to protect some of your more powerful XYZs. Upstart Goblin to thin the deck even more, but I don't think it's really necessary with how I'm running the deck. It's dependent on your monster count and what you're running for spells and traps. Pot of Duality, again, we don't really need as much more consistency and draw power in this deck, so I haven't really chosen to run this, but you can. You could run the other fire formations, Gaiku. I think we have better spell and trap things than Gaiku in this deck, but it's up to you. And also, Tensen, if you want to get that big power, can be really useful in certain situations, along with Horn of the Phantom Beast. Your Koa'ki Meiru cards will become very strong with this card, and you'll be able to get the advantage to draw very easily. Just, not what I decided to go with for this deck. So that's my Koa'ki Meiru deck. Just focused on getting those really powerful monsters right off the bat, trying to be as consistent as possible, and still have additional swarming and power. I have a lot of fun with this deck. I kind of wish it had more things that kind of bridge the gap between all the cards. I don't know how they'll do that, maybe down the line, because it seems like people only want to run, Fire Fist and Koa'ki Meiru and very limited amounts of the cards, so that's kind of disappointing. So hopefully down the line they'll have ways to make it more consistent and make you able to use a lot of the other cards. Because if you were able to use a lot more of the Koa'ki Meiru cards, we might see more of the Koa'ki Meiru, spell and traps and things like that. So could be really nice in the future, and I hope they do add more to this archetype. But if you guys do have your own Koa'ki Meiru decks, you could post below. Let me know in the comments. Just give me some ideas. If you have any suggestions for me, maybe something I didn't think about, I definitely want to see what that could be. So maybe I'll try it in the next version or as I play around with this deck. But that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.